because I guess a bunch of our supporters didn't get those notifications. So let's let those wheels run for just a second while we get popped up. I'm going to try to look at the Facebook thing, but I got the professional Scott here to make sure we are good and we are rolling. Boom, boom, boom. What is up, Broncos country? It is your Saturday night, and we have a very special edition of Mile High Insiders. To the right of me, to the left of me, depending on how you're looking at things on these screens, is our good friend Thomas Hall. He is a staff writer and a podcast host of his own show, Legends of Mile High, that you can listen to every Friday night or Friday morning, excuse me. But I've been just so pumped to get Thomas on the show. We've been texting all week. Pumped to have you, Thomas. Thanks for filling in.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it as well. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Nick is off in parts unknown. Like, the Ultimate Warrior used to say, I'm sitting here in parts unknown. I don't know where Nick is. So if you want to throw a hashtag, where's Nick, or give us your favorite take on where Nick could be. He likes to hike. He likes to fish. He likes to fine dine, all those things. We're trying to find out where Nick Kendall is. But guys, we got a really, really special show ahead. First of all, some big news. We got lots of teasers we're going to give you. We've got a very special guest joining the Legends of Mile High podcast hosted by Thomas Hall next Friday morning. You do not want to miss who that guest is. One hint, he's in the Broncos Ring of Fame. So do not miss that. That's coming up. We also have an article to get to by Greg Rosenthal where he started to project some starters. And with those starters, he's picking the Broncos as a postseason contender for the division of the AFC West. And we've got some raffling to get to and how you can become a supporter of the Mile High Huddle channel. But before we do that, let's say what's up to some folks that came right before we even got on. And we're pumped to say what's up. Diamond Rattler, always in the house. Boom, let's go. Appreciate you so much. Jeremy Bales is also here saying, what's up, guys? What's up, Jeremy? Appreciate you joining us on your Saturday night. And then we've got Blake. What's going on, Blake? Saying, let's go. And it's just a renewed sense of football, of relevance. Things are changing in the Mile High City, Tom. And last time you and I talked, I think it was a couple years ago on a draft day. And boy, have things changed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Finding a future Hall of Fame quarterback falling into your lap for unknown reasons, not sure why, will definitely do that for you. It's it's reminiscent of getting Peyton Manning, and there's been other quarterbacks in history that have come into the Denver Broncos and kind of turned things around. So there's a lot to be excited about. We're going to have a good year. Going to have some more fans coming into to Broncos country, I believe.
Heck yeah, just like Brad D's coming in with good evening, Luke and Thomas. Have a great holiday weekend. That's right. It's a long weekend for some. For others that are working, that's why we remember this Memorial Day weekend. Also, thoughts and prayers go out to Texas, to our country, and to all those who need it. But we're here to talk some football and MHI. I appreciate everyone's support, their love, just like Mike McHugh saying, what's up? Let's ride. I absolutely love the Let's Ride by Russell Wilson. And I was the guy that kind of called him corny, when he was with the Seahawks. He could ball for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I never denied that, Thomas.
Yep.
But
no,
I just kind of feel, I said it last week, I kind of feel like the Seahawks is that girl that got dumped. And they're going out with the next best thing, and they think that next best thing is Drew Lock, but then they go out and figure out, well, he can't really play great. So what can we do? We can make fun of Russell Wilson and call him corny. Call him corny if you want. The whole Let's Ride thing, I am in all the way. I love it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I remember not liking Peyton Manning because he used to beat the Broncos in the playoffs, in the early 2000s. And when he came, I was like, oh, he's coming to the Broncos. But, you gotta love it. You can't. You just gotta jump on and ride. This is amazing.
I hated him, Thomas. I'll just go ahead and be honest. I hated him because he would tear up your defense, and I was I know your podcast, Thomas's podcast, Legends of Mile High, focuses on some really, really good players of yesteryear, going all the way back in the day to recent players that I grew up loving. And one of them, Thomas, was Smoke Dog Al Wilson. And watching the chess match between him and Peyton Manning. I would hate Peyton Manning because he would come up and stop all momentum for the defense or anything with his audibles. And then when he's doing it here in Denver, I absolutely loved it. So it's just kind of the way it goes. And if Russell Wilson's in the house and wants to be corny, I'm good with it. That's Ernie Mays, what's up? A good friend of Mile High Huddle, the show, and of mine, saying hello, Luke and Thomas. Go Broncos. Let's ride. Absolutely love it. Mike S. Mike has been with us since the very beginning, and I love Mike's optimism. He comes in here and he tells the truth, man. Sometimes the truth hurts a little bit, and the Broncos have had some ugly truths the last half a decade, but things are starting to change here in the Mile High City. There's a new standard. The word energy is being thrown around all over. Nathaniel Hackett's out there playing linebacker. It's just absolutely crazy, and we haven't even gotten to mandatory minicamp yet.
Right. Yeah, and it's the whole thing, doesn't matter if you're playing like Pop Warner or you're in the NFL. If you're not having fun, you're not playing at your optimal level, you can feel that energy and the fun. I mean, they're going to go to work, obviously. They are going to go out and work hard, but, they're having a lot of fun, so they're going to play well. Kathy Lund, sorry I'm late. Good evening, all. Well, welcome, Kathy. Thank you for joining us.
What's up, Kathy? Kathy, another good friend of the show. And Broncos Country is a very special show because not only is Thomas gracing us with his time doing back-to-back Friday morning and then Saturday night, this guy's a grinder. You could also find his writing and all of our articles over at milehighhuddle.com. The cool thing about Mile High Huddle, at least the cool thing I think, it's not subscription-based. We do not charge you. Come read our content. It's all free. Listen to our podcast wherever you get those. So many hardworking guys and gals. And one thing I love to just say over and over, and it's kind of like in Fight Club when he's like, we protect you while you sleep. Well, our guy Keith across the pond is literally writing up Broncos content while we sleep. That's how cool this publication is, these group of guys and gals. Gary Leeds Palmer, appreciate you so much, man. Your support means a lot. This is, I think, our 101st show. We're actually going to be moving to prime time. So this is the last Saturday night show. You will be able to catch MHI with Nick and I on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Mountain. Those Huddle Up boys are getting out of there, and we're doing an MHI takeover. But really, really grateful to Broncos Country, MHH, Nick, Scott, everybody, Chad, Zach, everyone that's helped us along the way, Carl, Lance, Eric. I think every single person has been on this show at some point, and I'm damn proud of it. And that's another reason why I wanted to reach out to Thomas, because Thomas is like me and Nick. He's a nerd. He's a numbers guy. We look at numbers, we figure out trends, and we try our best to figure out what that means for the Denver Broncos. How can they improve? We look at game day matchups, all those sort of things. And Thomas, I'm really, really excited, man, because the Broncos are relevant again, so much so that we're starting to look at the projected offense. At least Greg Rosenthal is this last week. And I don't know if you got a chance. I'm sure you read the article I sent you this morning.
Yeah. No,
okay.
I did start to read it. Sorry, I actually had to go to it's a Saturday party kind of thing for my daughter's friend. So, I didn't get to read the whole thing yet. I read most of it for sure. But yeah, I mean, even if he didn't say that, it's pretty obvious that the offense is going to be a huge factor this year, where the last few years it has not been. We've ridden our defense, as a fan watching, hoping that they can pull something out just to save the offense. And this year it's not going to be like that at all. And we've got some good to great players to watch this year. It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be incredible. And anytime you've got Russell Wilson under center, you can do incredible things. And that's what the defense is finding out over there. You heard Justin Simmons talk about it recently. Some of the other defensive guys, it's just bizarre to see what Russell Wilson can do right when you think things are done, when he's bottled up. That bizarre spin move that has just earned him so much time and touchdown throws in overtime, and just the crazy magic is finally here in Mile High. So it's awesome with Russ Wilson. You can do just about anything you want. Just like Philip McLaughlin giving us some love. Awesome show, Luke, Tom, and Scott, sending some love and wishing everyone a safe weekend. Hashtag let's ride. Hashtag MHH for life. We appreciate that so much, Phil. Guys, your super chat donations absolutely help us keep the lights on, help us keep what we're doing going on, because we love covering football. We love the Denver Broncos, but it's also important that we bring a professional aspect to this whole thing, where sometimes it's hard to not fall in love with some of these players on and off the field and really root hard for them, especially when you got some good guys like Russell Wilson, Dalton Reisner, Justin Simmons, all these different guys. But you know what? It's going to be a lot easier to evaluate them with this new coaching staff. The first thing I want to get into before we get into some of the offense and projected starters, Nathaniel Hackett. What do you expect of Nathaniel Hackett and Justin Outen's offense here in 2022? Because we know Russell Wilson is here. It's the Russell Wilson show. Are they going to make a hybrid offense from Green Bay to fit Russell Wilson like they did with Peyton and Kubiak, kind of force fit a little bit? Or are we going to just wipe the slate clean and start from the ground up with planning for Russ?
Well, I think it's actually that Green Bay offense fits Russ pretty well. I mean, it's got a lot of elements from, back in the Shanahan days, with the wide zone and things like that. I think that fits Russell Wilson well. I don't think they have to tear something up and throw it out the window for him to exceed, but I think there's definitely going to be some tweaks made just for Russell Wilson, because he's a different type of player than many other quarterbacks. I mean, he's definitely got the mobility. You're probably going to see quite a few more bootlegs than we've witnessed. Once you get that running game running one way and you bootleg to the other side, and you're going to see some big plays. And Russell Wilson's a great deep ball thrower. So I expect to see that significantly more than we saw in the Broncos in the past, for sure. But definitely, I think that offense is pretty well made for Russell Wilson as it is.
We had
some tweaks.
I like it. We had a show last week, and the question was to air it out or pound the rock. And I think you're going to see a healthy balance. Dare I say, like the coach's favorite word, balance. I truly feel like there is a notion out there that Russell Wilson was upset with the Seahawks because they wanted to run the ball, or they didn't want to use his passing formations and different sets of variations for the route tree. But if you look back at some of the Seahawks games with beast mode, you see Russell Wilson going and checking down to the run a lot in the red zone. He's talked about it before, and I think the Broncos can absolutely have a running game that is set up for Russell Wilson. Like you said, some of my favorite memories was Jake Plummer on a bootleg to the left. A right-handed quarterback booting to the left is one of the hardest things that you can do, and throwing across your body, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I'm getting goosebumps even talking about it, because I could feel like I can see number 3 already doing that. You've got a host of wide receivers that can go down there and catch the ball. I mean, that's a special talent that Patrick Mahomes can pull off, Justin Herbert can pull off. Well, now Russell Wilson's here, and he's Super Bowl champ. We know he can pull it off.
Absolutely. And talking about in the old days, Shanahan was the run game was the primary focus a lot, but he could scheme people open so well off of the run game. So yeah, maybe they seem like they're going to be focusing on the run, but it's going to open up so much more for Russell Wilson's passing. And it's and and I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know how great of coach Nathaniel Hackett's going to be. I'm assuming that he's going to be good, and he's going to be able to scheme up some plays like that. So it'll work out.
It's going to work out just like Brad D says it is. They're going to maximize Russ Wilson's strengths and minimize what he's less comfortable with. And I like that, Brad. And I'm going to start wondering, what is he less comfortable with? I mean, like, he's got so many strengths, it's kind of hard to poke at some weaknesses. And I guess at first glance, I would say staying in the pocket can at times get Russ in trouble. Just when it starts to crowd in, I think then his size can somewhat get to him with not having the height to necessarily see over multiple defenders caving in. But that's me being really picky, Thomas, because on the other hand, the other guy of that conversation could say, in the pocket, are you kidding me? That's when he does his best work. He spins around, he gets out of trouble, he dives, he dips, he dodges. I sound like Patrick O'Houlihan, from dodgeball. But he gets out of all kinds of trouble. Sure, he has flaws, But Javonte Williams talked about it just a couple days ago, Tom. He said, look, man, this is the most complex offense I've ever been a part of. We're asked to be receivers as well. And what people don't realize, and I know you do because I've read some of your work, I've listened to your show, Javonte Williams can catch the ball. Mike Boone can catch the ball. We know Melvin Gordon. Everybody knows I can't stand Melvin Gordon, but Melvin Gordon can catch the ball. These Broncos running backs are going to be utilized in a way that Broncos country hasn't seen.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I was talking about on my show yesterday morning about Glenn Milburn, relating him to Montreal, Washington a little bit or vice versa. And, I think that, being able to utilize those running backs in multiple ways like that is huge. You definitely want to have your grinder. Javonte Williams is going to get you yards on the ground, but at the same time to just kind of Melvin Gordon or Boone or Javonte Williams out of the backfield to catch a ball. That's kind of, it might come as a surprise to a lot of people watching because you're looking at the running game going so well, but that's the reason why you set the game up with the running game. It's why you do the bootlegs. It's why you catch the defense off guard. And I think you're going to see, they're going to probably split a lot more time than we're anticipating, but you're going to see a lot more catches, I think, for all the running backs this year. And I actually think Mike Boone might have a pretty big role on third down,
Yes.
Just catching the ball, things like that. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Hackett seems like he's got everything together. He seems like he's going to be a good coach. Seems like he can scheme up some good plays. But until we start to see that happening, there's still going to be that doubt, like, can he do it? But I think he can. He seems like a different coach, a different attitude, a different way of going about things than we've seen at Broncos camp the last 5 years.
Yeah, the first thing that's going to be interesting here at camp, and I'll be out there every day. If you guys are out there, be sure to say hello. It's a great place to bring your kids. I will say that it's going to be a zoo this year. I know that some fans are already talking about parking overnight and kind of camping out just to get a glimpse. Yeah, right. It's like the Rolling Stones are coming to town with the Russell Wilson show here, and that's so exciting, man, because it was super embarrassing to see the lack of fans there last year. And that's not any beef against the fans because, dude, sometimes people have more important things to do with their summer than watch grumpy old Vic Fangio not have music and give 20 water breaks. That's not happening this year, man. The music is back. The players are feeling themselves. There's a expectation. There's so much energy in the air. And I wanted to get to Kathy real quick saying if the O-line can keep number 3 upright, the offense will be A-okay. And you heard Garrett Bowles say, his priorities to keep 3 safe. And then who was the rookie who was talking all that smack? Defensive end from the Kansas City Chiefs. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm drawing a blank too. And they say he's like a Greek last name, I feel like like Kalafdis or something like that.
Yeah,
he comes out there and is like, I can't wait to sack that little guy. And I wanted to stir the pot a little bit. First time I've ever done that. So I actually tagged Garrett Bowles in an article that Zach or Chad wrote up, and Garrett retweeted the article. He kind of had like this fresh meat mentality to it. And I think one thing you can see from the offensive tackles, and let's start to highlight them, for the Broncos in 2022, we know Garrett Bowles is locking down the left tackle position. The thing that I really liked about GB and what he said a few weeks ago during voluntary workouts was, look, I'm coming at this like I need to start for my job. And I love that mentality. I think he has definitely grown up. He's a guy that understands what he needs to do with that contract he was paid. But then you got Billy Turner in here, and he's going to be locked in. At least Greg Rosenthal believes as the starting right tackle. I think so as well. I think for these offensive tackles, and they're under new coaching, right? I think Butch Berry is the offensive line coach now. It's a whole new group for these cats. And I think you're going to see the tackles be asked to let the defensive ends, let these elite pass rushers in the AFC West climb up the field. That allows lanes for Russell Wilson to either rush or run around and make that magic happen, because the AFC West is full of pass rushers, Tom.
Yep, absolutely. And I think you'll see that the scheme is going to fit many of the offensive linemen better this year than it has the last couple of years. And I know Garrett Bowles had a really good season with Munchak as his coach, But I think this scheme's going to be better fit for them, and Billy Turner especially. I at first, but until they signed him, I thought I was a little worried about the right tackle. I thought Calvin Anderson would have to show up pretty big. I thought he was kind of a dark horse to jump in there at right tackle, but I'm pretty excited about having Billy Turner back. It really is a shame that the Broncos let him walk way back when they did, but here he's back. If he can be healthy, I think he's going to fit right in. I think Risner's going to fit right into this new scheme. And then I think the question marks really are the center and possibly the right guard, although I think Glasgow's, a better fit for this scheme as well.
My guy, Quinn Miners. I like to say I discovered Quinn before everybody else, even though I didn't. I was there when everybody else discovered him at the Senior Bowl. Scott went to the Senior Bowl last year. It's what we do here at MHH, man. We're boots on the ground all over the place. I was at Shrine this last year. Like I said, Scott had boots on the ground. Man, it's great. Dalton Reisner, for me, he's got a little something to prove. I love the story, but I need more consistency. What's bizarre, Tom, is Quinn Miners is not committing to where he's playing. I think that is a very telling sign that his versatility is going to be utilized, at least tested by new head coach or new offensive line coach Butch Berry. Here's my guy, Travis Weber. What's up, dude? Good evening, Luke, Thomas, Scott, and Broncos country. We might have a couple of holes on the defense, but I am happy and excited to have an offense again to take a lot of weight off of the defense's shoulders for seasons to come. Travis, you're exactly right, man. The defense has been not struggling, but just carrying this offense's water for years and years. And I think Russell Wilson's arrival takes a lot of pressure off.
Yeah, Russell Wilson raises all boats on offense and on defense. I mean, it really does. You bring a future Hall of Fame quarterback in, it's going to make everybody around him better, including the defense. And, they're going to take more risks probably because they're not so worried about how they're going to leave their, if they mess up, their offense can come back and kind of make up for those mistakes if they do make them. So I think you're going to see them take more chances. And that's just going to help both sides really extensively. So, yeah, it's excitement for a reason. You're talking about training camp. It's going to be wild and much better. I mean, there's a reason for it. And it's Russell Wilson. I mean, really, yeah, you can say it's the coaches coming in, making it, but everybody's coming to see Russell Wilson, and rightfully so. I mean, the guy's proven to be an elite quarterback. And, I don't care what people say about his year. Last year, he was hurt for three games. He still was on pace to have one of his better seasons. So I don't see a downside to it at all. And I mean, sans injury, I mean, we knock on wood that doesn't happen.
That's right. Peter Middleton, another one of our guys who's been with us since the infancy of MHI, man. We appreciate you so much, Pete. You are part of this success that we have on this team, on this show. It's never individual success. It's part of a team, and Pete's part of that team. So thank you, brother. Fangio, seems so long ago. The positivity in the building is great. I hope it turns into results, though. How patient do you think Broncos country will be if there are some bad results, especially considering the easy start to the schedule?
Well, based on our, I'll take a shot at that. Based on history, we'll probably not, be very patient at all. I mean, we want wins. I mean, that's just face it.
Sure.
We've watched this team under 500 for several seasons, so we are expecting, and rightfully so. I mean, if we don't see this team get out to a fast start, and there's going to be bumps in the road, there's definitely going to be some hiccups, but we need to see some wins right off the bat, really, before we, are really comfortable with thinking that this is going to be turned around. But, I remember Peyton Manning was 2-3 when he was with the Broncos and turned it around. So, but that was with a tough schedule. So I really think Broncos fans are going to be pleasantly surprised the first 8 weeks of the season. I think we're going to be sitting great watching this team. Maybe only 2 losses, really, from my perspective.
Man, it's so hard it's the old cliche, any given Sunday, although they play on Thursday and Monday and all these other days now. I'm going to lead on Greg Rosenthal here in the article that we kind of featured our show on, talking about why he has the Broncos in postseason contention, specifically as a big dog to play in the division with the AFC West. And he said, Russell Wilson has never been surrounded by this much skill position talent. Very few quarterbacks have. Some teams have 4 number 3 receivers, but the Broncos in a perfect world could have 2 number 1s in Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, a number 2 in Tim Patrick, and a sneaky explosive number 3 in KJ Hamler. Man, he is stacked with offense,
Yeah.
and that's before you even get to the running backs. We didn't mention any of the tight ends. And Nick loves to give me hell about so many things, but the first thing he loves to say, other than running backs are worthless and so are linebackers, he loves to tell me that Russell Wilson does not utilize the tight end position. And I love to kick back and say, well, who did he have, in Seattle? Give me a break here. But I think Russell Wilson is going to utilize the tight end position, so much so that's why they used one of the premier picks to get Greg Dulcich out of UCLA. George Payton knows what he's doing, and I think the tight ends, Albert O, he's got to have a big season. Competition is in the room now. Noah Fant. He couldn't cut it, man. He couldn't cut it here in the Mile High City. We needed to upgrade at quarterback. Sure, send him to Seattle. What do you think the tight end position is going to mean for Russell Wilson in this offense?
Yeah, I'm sorry to. I'm a little bit more on Nick's side, I guess. But it's not necessarily because Russell Wilson. Looking at Green Bay's offense, I mean, I think Mercedes Lewis was their number 1 guy last year, and he had like 250.
Bob Tonyan got hurt, man, and Bob Tonyan was a straight up gang member. And then who's the other cat they had playing after Bob Tonyan got hurt? He wasn't, it wasn't bad, kind of just a jag. But I think you've got to utilize some of these tight ends, specifically in the red zone. Injuries, they're going to happen. I mean, you mentioned it earlier. This receiving core, it's Greg Rosenthal's talking about in a perfect world, they're all going to be number 1s. Well, in a perfect world, they'd all stay healthy. All right. But receivers are going to get hurt this season. I think game plans are going to have to feature the tight end, and you damn well better be willing to block, Alberto, and you damn well get a lot better at it, because we know that Andrew Beck can block. We know that Eric Saubert can block. Tomlinson, I'm not so sure if he can block. I think a can't body, if I'm going to be honest. But Greg Dulcich, he's going to do anything they ask him to do. I think this guy's going to be a superstar in the league, and I think Russell Wilson's the guy that's going to make him that.
Yeah, and you may see a change. You may see more passes to the tight end, but with the wealth of talent, I mean, without injury, who do you throw the ball to first? Really, I mean, Cortland Sutton's number 1 for me. And then you're going to Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick.
What? You got Timmy Patrick at chopped liver at number 3? The guy's
no. I'm just saying that you got those 2 after him, and then you finally can get to a tight end. Really, I mean, if you had Shannon Sharp there, you better feature him. But the tight ends aren't at this point all pros, all world players. So it's going to be. I think they'll utilize them, but I don't think it's going to be huge numbers for them. I don't feel like, but they're still going to be great I think they're going to be good tight ends with a different quarterback. And I think if Noah Fant stayed, he would be a good quarterback under Russell Wilson too, but within a different scheme. But I think Albert is going to be great. Greg Dulcich's going to be, he's going to have some growing pains, but I think he's going to be fun to watch at the very least. He's going to be fun to watch and fun to listen to.
I think he's going to pancake some fool. I'm saying that right now, just to get that notion out there that he can't block. I think he's got some mean to him. I like the fact that he's a little arrogant, a little cocky. He's got a lot to prove. He's a walk-on, for crying out loud. He's definitely coming for some playing time.
Oh, yeah.
As a rookie on the special teams unit. Don't be surprised if you see him blow somebody up on the special teams unit. That's your 2nd round, 3rd round tight end, Broncos country. I mean, give me a break. Travis Weber again coming in with some support. We appreciate you, Trav. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Plus, having Nathaniel Hackett is a breath of fresh air and a sigh of relief. Watching Cortland Sutton's presser talking about Hackett being involved in every part of the team, offense, defense, and special teams. Unlike Vic Fangio, a good defensive coordinator, but not a head coach. One of the things that I love about Nathaniel Hackett that Travis just pointed out is he knows what he knows, but he seems like a guy who can delegate responsibility as well. And there was a time when he was first in the very first workout, I believe, with Russell Wilson, and the first time we see him in Broncos gear throwing, he was asked a little bit about, how do you monitor your practice? Are you spending time with the offense, the defense, special teams? He said, right now, I'm spending time with this offense. I don't know what's going on with the defense today. I will find out later from my coach, Coach Evero, and the rest of our staff. But my primary focus right now is on this offense. And that was for that day. Now, obviously, days change and different plans change. But that to me right there said, okay, we've got a coach who can delegate responsibility, not just ignore the other side of the ball.
Sure. Well, and the mark of a good head coach isn't really X's and O's in my book. It's being able to build a coaching staff and those around you that make everybody better. And, going back to Dan Reeves, I know people give him a lot of flack for not utilizing Elway as much, but he built an incredible staff. And that's why he was so successful, although he had John Elway as well. But, I mean, he had success at other places. But, that's what Hackett's doing. It's not he's not taking over the X's and O's. If he did, then he's not going to have time to do everything else he needs to do. So I'm excited to see this. And I know I bought into Fangio's speech, death by inches thing. When he first came out, I was hooked on it. Hoping.
Who did?
I know.
Who didn't?
It was good, but there was no meat behind it. But Hackett seems slightly different than that. I don't know. He seems like he just seems different. I don't know. It's great.
What's up? Speaking of great, our guy Dale, he's making his first Mile High Huddle show live, MHI with Tom and Luke. Hey, Broncos country, don't ever get to see live. Always watch afterward. Good show. We appreciate you, Dale. You can see Thomas on Friday mornings for Legends of Mile High, and you can see yours truly and Nick Kendall moving on over to primetime on Wednesday nights. So, speaking of more greatness and other changes going on with the MHH community, we've got our top 5, top 7, it looks like, rankings for the Bronco jersey raffle that's going to be going on here very soon. The DWI guys sitting in at number 1. They're great friend of the show. Michaela Parker in at number 2. Our guy Michael Ronquillo. Pobby, what's up, Pobby? She has been with us since the infancy of this show as well. You got Tanner, Sam BBM in at 6. DW96734, Shane Turtle, Mark from Georgia, our guy Naj, Paul, Broncos Sunrise, Casey Nickel, Stu McPeak. Look at that. We even got Dave from Georgia popping in there for the top 20. Chad Jensen. Sometimes he gives us a little bit of love, and we appreciate all the work that Chad gives us. It's actually Chad's idea, man, to try to give back to MHH and the Super Chat community. This is our way of giving back. Get yourself a Broncos jersey. I think we've given away so many cool Broncos jersey. Pat Surtain stuff, Javonte Williams stuff, so many cool things. And speaking of that, guys, get on over to the huddleuppod.com store, and you can go ahead and get some swag. Thomas, I'm waiting for a mug or a hat or something from that pod over there at Legends of Mile High. But you guys can grab yourself a hat, all kinds of different stuff. Scott's always on with Nick for Broncos for breakfast. You can find all their gear over there as well. And yeah, thank you for rocking with us. You guys are what makes the world go round for us here at MHH. Peter Middleton coming again saying, now that we've started to get to know the rookies a little bit better, who is the surprise day 3 pick getting more gameplay than expected, and the draft player who disappoints? 2 good questions, Tom. I'm going to kick them over to you.
Yeah, I'm going to jump it right in and say Montreal Washington is going to, I don't know if it's going to be a surprise. I mean, he's going to take over the returning duties from my perspective, because really there's nobody else to do it. And as I was comparing him earlier with Glenn Milburn, I think they can scheme up some stuff for him on offense as well, because get him into space. I think he's going to surprise a little bit, win the returning duties as long as he can have good ball security. I think he's going to be the surprise that people aren't really thinking of. Small school guy out of Samford. I just have this feeling about him, not just in the return game. I think they've got 4 great receivers. They're going to put him as the 5th receiver, and you may not see a 6th. So he might get some playing time on offense. So that's, I feel like he's the day 3 pick that's going to surprise. I talked about analytically some of the positions, not the actual players, but I've talked about analytically which positions tend to disappoint. And that means Damari Mathis, 4th round cornerback, may disappoint. Quarterbacks tend to be probability wise least likely to make an impact or be a primary starter in the NFL after being drafted in the 4th round. So unfortunately, I mean, I don't. He looks like he's, he could be a good player, and I hope they all are. But analytically speaking, the probability he's one that could disappoint.
Yeah, man, that's tough because Mathis to me he's a corner that plays like a safety at times. So I think you could see some of these great quarterbacks in the AFC West absolutely go after him. But for me, I'm going to butcher this name and help me out, please, Broncos country. Go ahead, and you too, Thomas. Our 4th round Iowa State defensive lineman, Iwama Uwazurike, I think I'm going to go with. This cat, I think he's wearing Shelby Harris's old number. Could be wrong, but I am hearing excellent things about him. Draymond Jones is raving about this rookie. I think you're going to see him a lot towards the back half of the year, where maybe you're getting some of the other defensive linemen some rests, some limited reps, or there are going to be injuries. My guy McTelvin Najim, your job is not safe, dude. You have not produced at the level that you need to consistently. Watch out for him as a training camp cut. But for me, Montreal, Washington, I'm going to push back a little bit on that. I really was a little disappointed in that pick. I think he's going to have to bring a lot to the table. I thought that this was a Dwayne Stukes pick. Turns out it was a Zach Azani pick. That is absolutely bizarre, and that's coming from the Denver Broncos. Go check it out. They've got a Denver Broncos video or an interview where Coach Z and George Payton are talking about it after the fact. And when Zach Azani is picking out a guy, that makes me really interested because I love Coach Z. Who doesn't? I think he could be an eventual offensive coordinator in the NFL at certain points. He's a hidden gem. I don't know for how long, but Nick Bonito, I have a lot of concerns. And no, Nick, don't block me. I think I'm like Tom and I are the only ones from MHH that he hasn't blocked. But no, I think he's going to have a little bit of concerns just with the weight. You hear George Payton talk about it a lot, Broncos country. The guy's got to get in the weight room. We need him to get with Adam or Lauren Landau. I get concerned when I hear that, but he is a 2nd round pick. So maybe there is a little bit of fairness to it. And we got to be patient. It's hard to have rookies come out and just absolutely hit on everything.
It's almost impossible, really, to have all the rookies hit. I like Uzarike. I think it's
all right,
pronounced something like that. Uzarike. It's a tough name.
We need a nickname for him.
Yeah.
Like I need somebody, to give him a Dom Capers over there needs to give him a nickname or something like that, because this cat's going to be destructive. You're going to hear his name a lot, and maybe then we'll be able to pronounce it.
Yeah, exactly. I love his length. He sort of reminds me, just in his build, really, and his ability to play along the line, of Trevor Price. Now, that's a huge compliment, because Trevor Price, coming out of college, way better pass rusher, more skilled, more explosive. But, I've seen a couple of clips, and, you don't get to see everything, but I saw a couple of clips. He looks like he plays with great leverage, which I think Price played with great leverage as well. So he, he's going to take some time to develop. Don't think that he's going to be Trevor Price, for ever, maybe, because Trevor Price is one of the best interior pass rushers that the Broncos have ever had. But the length, and he's heavier, obviously, but his ability to use leverage at that length is kind of shocking to me from what I've seen. Now, I didn't do a huge film study on him or anything. This is just some things that I've seen here and there. But yeah, I'm impressed with him. I think you're right. I think I wrote about that too. I think you're going to see a couple defensive line cuts because of him that are going to surprise some people.
A lot of surprises are coming to the Mile High City. You're going to see some players with a lot to play for, including Bradley Chubb as a pass rusher, Malik Reed as a pass rusher. These guys have got a lot of pressure. The interior defensive line, how could you not be feeling good about those cats? I am a little curious, I'm going to say, about Luke Wattenberg, Washington center, in the 5th round. He's a very versatile young man as well, very humble beginnings, and I just think he's going to have a little bit of fight to him. And I'm hoping that we can see the offensive line and defensive line, because, I got some love for those big guys playing in high school, but the pit is my favorite place to be anywhere, from the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Game, combine, wherever, make sure you watch the pit because they rarely show you, especially because there's so much vulgarity coming out of the mouth out of one Bill Kolar, who was retained in a different role with the Broncos. But that guy has some of the most colorful, creative curse words that I've ever heard that I can never, say on this show. But they're hilarious curse words, and stuff like that. But those big men getting after it, absolutely amazing. We're going to have to see how the rest of the season shapes up for him, but big expectations. Chase Wellner's been our guy too, supporting us since the beginning. Another big reason that we are moving on over to the primetime slots, MHI on Wednesday nights. Scott, Nick, and I will be starting that first Wednesday night show this coming Wednesday, June 1st. But Chase Wellner saying Greg Gumbel couldn't handle saying Alberto. He may short circuit trying to say Iomma's name. I'm gonna short.
His first name is Iomma. His first name is Iomma. It's not too bad. His last name's a little tricky. His last name's a little tricky. Iomma.
Iomma. Yeah, we'll call him Iomma. It's absolutely great. Jay Roper is saying he blocked Nick. So I have a theory what's going on here with Nick Benito. I have a theory that maybe his agent runs his Twitter account, and that's probably the best thing, honestly. If you start to look at like how you should run your business and your brand, you probably shouldn't be the one tweeting, because that could go either way, and sometimes it does. But no, sometimes we get blocked. We're still trying to figure out. I don't know. Woody Page has blocked me as well too, so I feel like I'm so confused. And I reached out to a good friend, right, and asked him, "Hey, man, ask Woody what I did. I've never even met the guy. I've read his work since I was a little kid." And he's like, "Dude, Woody said if he could have blocked you 3 times over, he would have done it." And so I just kind of had to laugh and be like, this is Twitter. But no, man, we appreciate you guys rocking with us. We have so much fun over this stuff. It's football, and it's cool to disagree, and sometimes it's fun to poke fun at ourselves, especially getting blocked. Andrew Baker, here we go, another good friend of the show, helping us get to that primetime slot past show 100. What's up, fam? Had to catch the last Saturday of MHI. Cool to see Thomas live and ready for his next Friday show, but I'll see y'all on Wednesday evenings. Hashtag MHH for life. Pookie Williams. I love that jersey, Andrew. Absolutely love it, man. I hope you have a fantastic holiday weekend. And who could be this guest, Tom, that Andrew Baker is talking about? I teased it earlier in the show. A Broncos Ring of Famer is going to be on these very airwaves next Friday morning with Thomas Hall. You can find Thomas at Thomas Hall NFL on Twitter, host of the Legends of Mile High podcast. So who's it going to be, man? Who's coming on the show Friday morning that the people are talking about?
Broncos legend, none other than Carl Mecklenburg will join the show. Heck of a person, incredible player, Hall of Fame caliber player. I am just honored to have him join the show and talk football. Who? Carl Mecklenburg. Carl Mecklenburg. Yep.
The
most versatile player, in my opinion, and probably many others in NFL history. Played all front 7 positions. We're going to dive into what it took to do that, because you can say that, oh yeah, he played all front 7 positions. But until you realize what it really takes to do that, then you're going to understand his greatness. I mean, he should be in the Hall of Fame now, in my opinion, not only for just what he did on the field, but just the unique nature of how he played. He's the one of a kind. He should get more recognition for that. But I am so excited. He's one of my favorites when I was growing up. I loved Mecklenburg. Such a great person too, gracious enough to come on the show. So I am looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. I don't know if I can. I'll be able to wipe the smile off my face.
It's hard to not have a fanboy moment when you're having a Broncos Ring of Famer coming on, and the people right here from MHI are getting a huge response with Mech, man. It's I'm jealous, absolutely jealous. I'm like, I've got the key to, just like you, to hop in these live streams, and I want to be sitting back there chewing my nails, watching every aspect of it. My mom has a Mech jersey.
Nice.
Yeah, man. One of the Orange Crush jerseys too. She wears it for every Broncos game. He's such an awesome guy in the city of Denver. I've met him a few different times as a kid, just at in public. He's
Yeah.
just the coolest guy. He'll be out there at training camp. Be sure to bring your kids. He'll sign autographs for them. He's just a man of the people. And
Yeah.
Thomas told me this was going to happen before he announced it last Friday. And I'm like, dude, that is awesome.
Yeah,
Talk
it's
about
awesome.
how to launch a podcast. And that's how you do it, Thomas. You get it by getting Mech, man. And to have Mech in there is going to be absolutely such a cool thing. What time should Broncos country tune in on next Friday morning?
7:30 a.m. every morning. Every Friday morning, 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time is when Legends of Mile High airs. Usually runs about 40 minutes. I try to keep it kind of short. But yeah, tune in next week. I'm looking forward to it.
That's going to be absolutely wicked, man. Yeah. Travis is coming in here. The albino rhino. That's what I was saying. The vanilla gorilla. This guy, man, he's so cool. And Travis saying, I was saying last night that I think that the defensive lineman from Iowa State, can't say his name either, Luke, so don't feel bad. Anyways, I think he could possibly make an immediate impact. I do too, Travis, and this might piss a lot of people off, including Nick. But I think he's going to be what Draymond Jones should have been. Draymond, I think I'm still waiting. I know he put together some bomb games that he won for the Broncos in the latter half of that season last year. I need to see a whole season of it, Draymond. He leaves me wanting more. But Draymond Jones, I'm so excited to see him this year. This defensive lineman rotation is completely new. Mike Purcell, watch out for Mike Purcell. I think Greg Rosenthal had him penciled in as a starter. I'm not sure. I might be nose tackle Mike Purcell and off-ball linebacker Alex Singleton should get 300 plus snaps. I have Mike Purcell on the bubble for training camp right now. If I'm going to be honest, I think his contract's a little rough. Plus that consistency with being injured. We're going to have to see, man. Absolutely going to have to see. But you've got Broncos country buzzing right now. You got 127 people saying, including our guy Andrew, saying, man, have fun, Thomas. I'm starstruck just being able to listen. And that's it, man. That's how Thomas does it on Friday mornings of Legends of Mile High podcast. He gets all kinds of guests, including the Vanilla Gorilla himself and Kathy Lund coming in here. Put me in check like I need to be. Draymond is going to have a big year. Bet. And it's a contract year, right? It's time for some money for Draymond. So he's got to have a big year because come hell or high water, a team's got to pay for a defensive lineman that is disruptive, consistently on the field, and has significant output.
Yeah, I like Draymond actually. I too leave there's a little bit left out there that I think he needs to bring, but I'm excited about this combination with him and DJ Jones. I think he's going to have a big year. I like his pass rushing ability from the interior. I think DJ Jones can help him. I think if Mike Purcell can stay healthy, I agree he could get pushed off the roster, but if he stays healthy, he's going to be a force. I think they're going to have one of the better rotations they've had in a long time on the defensive line. And you're going to see somebody get cut that you're going to be a little bit surprised of, I believe. But yeah, I'm a Draymond Jones fan. I think he's got to put it all together at some point. I mean, it seems like it's been a little while, but I think he's going to do it. I think it's going to be a good year for him.
I think my problem with I love his attitude. I love how he is, but to me, he kind of has that chest out a little bit more without having all the pelts on the wall. And I need a few more pelts on the wall before you're the baddest baddest dog in the yard. But I love it, man. And you're talking about DJ Jones. This cat is going to be phenomenal. This guy is going to wreck games. Creed Humphrey, you had a cush season last year, and I'm jealous that they have Creed Humphrey, but good luck trying to block DJ Jones when they bring him into the inside, because he said it the other day, Tom, I'll play wherever they want me to play. I'm here to be disruptive. One of my goals is to be a pass rusher. I don't want to just be known as a run stuffer. I want to penetrate the backfield and get after the quarterback. And I'm thinking, boom, this boy can move. He's versatile. He's hungry. He wants to be here. I think one of the best signings by George Payton this last offseason. Alex Singleton, I like, sure, but DJ Jones, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. I know there's a big hoopla about Gregory coming and all that, and people are talking about it. But when I saw Jones get, I was like, that's the best signing. That's the best offseason signing they made.
It made you feel better about Gregory and the elbow then?
Yeah, definitely. I was not, I'm not a Gregory fan. So,
No? All right. Tell me why.
Well,
Talk to me.
it has nothing to do with, his suspension or anything, but he hasn't been on the field a lot. So that worries me. Number one, has a little bit of injury problem, not too much. It just, there's a lot to be worried about. So that's why I was a little bit not high on him getting signed for the money he got signed on. I mean, people were going after him. And I thought that they're going after him on some potential that he could have, which is great. But at this point, he's 29 now, 28 or 29. Like, potential's kind of gone past you at this point. You're going to start to see a decrease. So I'm a little worried about his age, not putting it all together yet, and not being on the field. That's why I was worried about the money they gave out to him, not about him. He seems like he has a bad rep, but he seems like a pretty good guy. Seems like a good leader. He seems like, and he can pass rush when he's available to pass rush. There's no doubt about it.
But I liked him. I wrote up every week. I write an article, keys to victory for the Broncos, and then kind of a takeaways piece after every game. And he was one of my keys to victory about how Garrett Bowles and him were going to battle, and they did battle. And I think he did have a decent game against the Broncos, but Garrett Bowles had a decent game against him as well. Yeah. He definitely takes off some plays, which really bothers me because, that talent is there. But when you're not utilizing it all the way, that bums me out, because the one thing you could say about Bradley Chubb is he's injury prone. It's not that he doesn't play hurt. It's not that he doesn't have effort. I mean, the guy's out there playing on one knee, for Christ's sake, almost every game, and it absolutely kills me. But what doesn't kill me is Sturking 31's generous $10 super. We appreciate you so much. Hey, Thomas, any word on the backup quarterback situation? Because after all, someone's got to hold the clipboard for Mr. Unlimited.
What's great is we're not going to be arguing about if a backup should be the starter this year. It is a cut and dried situation. It is Russell Wilson all the way. From his track record, we're probably not going to see a backup. And think about this. Russell Wilson has played every game but 3, and he's getting sacked an average of over 40 times per season. If this line can protect him half, twice that good, so 20, cut those in half, I doubt he's going to miss a snap. So, but I have not heard any word on the backup situation, but in my opinion, it's Johnson is going to be the backup. They brought him in for a reason. I love, I love the, now I'm drawing a blank. Sorry. Rippon. He's got a good mind. I think if you could have put his head on Drew Lock's body, he would probably be a pretty dang good quarterback, but he's got some limitations. So I think they brought Johnson in for a reason, but I haven't heard anything. I don't know if you have, Luke.
No, I haven't heard anything, probably because I haven't asked. I haven't asked around about the backup quarterback position. I will give you a little nugget here in a second. I've been telling Broncos Country last week about KJ Hamler and some info I got on KJ Hamler, and I'll spill those beans before we break out. But here's the thing, man. Josh Johnson, I think he is going to be the guy. Russell Wilson handpicked him, and when Russell Wilson handpicks your backup quarterback, that's probably the direction you're going to go. I don't love the backup quarterback there for Josh Johnson, but it doesn't bother me. Here's the thing with Brett Rippon. Man, he's so smart. He's personable. The guys like him. I'm told that Russell Wilson loves him, but he has such an odd ball, and he leaves so much to be desired. No mustard on it. It drives me crazy, and I'm finding myself make excuses for it every year because I like Brett. It's just going to be really tough. With regards to KJ Hamler, do not be surprised if you see the Broncos treat him with very fragile gloves. Does not mean he's not responding well to rehab. He is healthy, but the Broncos want to make sure he's going to be okay. Don't get worried if you don't see a lot of him in the training camp. Don't get worried if you don't see a lot of him in preseason. KJ is good to go, but being told he could be on that PUP list a little earlier. He could be just handled very, very delicately. And that's got to be the case, right, Tom? You see these speed burners come into the league, John Ross, and when these track stars get hurt, and they're thrown back into the lineup, they get hurt again. It's hard to recover as they age, and some of that explosiveness is lost.
Absolutely. Yeah. I look forward to seeing him, but he's definitely want to get him back healthy because he's a, deep threat. He's going to be fun to watch. So yeah, I can understand that. Peter Middleton's got a great question coming in from Facebook. If Chubb looks like he's not playing great in training camp, do you trade now? That's a
Yes,
good.
absolutely. I would have traded at the NFL draft, brother. Seriously, this is no beef to Bradley. I've talked to Bradley; he's been good to me. But for me, he's just too injury prone. But here's the thing: what's that mean? You're going to put Malik Reed out there? Jonathan Cooper? What? He's got to have finger surgery or something going on with him that came out last week? Or come on, man! All our defensive ends are in the hospital getting surgery, or the others are in the rehab room getting better. And then there's Malik Reed. That's really, really tough. Don't be surprised if you see some of these cats. Maybe another pass rusher. It makes the team that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
A rookie, an undrafted guy. It's tough. I understand the notion of trading Bradley Chubb, but the time is gone. I think for that move to have happened.
Yeah, he doesn't have. I mean, yeah, he has value if he's playing good, but if he's not playing good, everyone's going to know it. So they're not going to. Oh, perfect timing, Kathy Lund, same exact thing. If he's not doing well, why would you want him? Who would want him? Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is Chubb's a good player. He needs to show something this season of being a very high impact player, in my opinion. Otherwise, he'll be gone. But right now, you just don't have anybody else. You can't trade him. His value, if he's playing great, there's some value there. But if he's playing great, you don't want to get rid of him. So I don't think he's going to get cut. I don't think he's going to be on the trade block. And I think there's just not enough around him right now to warrant something. If you had someone great right behind him and you're like, well, let's try and get some value out of him while we have it, then yeah, but you just don't have that. I think it's one of the least position as far as good depth on the roster, in my opinion.
I agree, and you got to have pass rushers, and George Payton will be the first one to tell you. Peter Middleton saying, guys, we've got players: Browning, Reed, Benito, Gregory. Here's the thing, Pete. They do not want Baron Browning in at the edge if they don't need to. I know that was the early narrative that he would be rushing the passer, and he still will get his chances, but they kind of doubled down by saying, no, we want him inside now, and I think that's probably why you saw him go to Nick Benito. I do believe George Payton when he says that he didn't think that Nick Benito would be there when the Broncos eventually got on the clock. But I can also tell you, and just like you guys saw the footage, that they really struggled. They liked my guy, Chad Muma, a lot out of Wyoming, too. And I think if that was the case and they got a linebacker early on, then maybe you see Baron Browning move to the edge. But I don't need Baron Browning on the edge. I think Ohio State really jacked with him by moving him on the edge, moving him inside. He played every position, on the defense except for cornerback and D-line pretty much. And it's just insane to me. I would hate to see Baron Browning get caught up. He was wearing the green dot last year, for crying out loud. I mean, this guy has football acumen. He has talent. He has raw instincts. He's more than just a pass rusher. And I get that people are fascinated with Micah Parsons being able to move all over the field, but you don't need that with Baron Browning. You do draft Nick Benito for this reason, and hopefully we see what they can do. Benjamin Flores is coming in here at the end of the show. Want to make sure we get to him. It's sad because not too long ago, we had a very fierce pass rush. Now our pass rush is almost non-existent, and we're floating on a prayer. It's pretty scary. So I'm hoping that Chubb and Gregory can come back with vengeance and that Benito proves to be a solid rusher. Bradley Chubb, he's got to make something of this season. He's got a lot to prove. All the time people are asking about goals for players. I want to see Bradley Chubb play an entire season and raise hell, if I'm going to be honest. And if he's not getting the job done, or if he has an injury, next man up. Let's cycle him through until we get somebody that hits.
Yep. And my problem with Chubb isn't, has been healthy, which is a problem, obviously. But even when he has not been a huge impact player. I mean, really their biggest impact player that from the pass rushing perspective was traded last year, and that was Von Miller. And we haven't had an impact pass rusher since. And I know that there's potential with Greg. He could be. or Gregory. And then Benito looks like he could have some potential too, but that's all we're talking about here is potential. Somebody is going to have to step up on that pass rush on the edge and be an impact player every game. And so far the Chubb has not been that. And I like Chubb. I think he had tons of promise. He's been injury hampered, and that could be a big reason, but this is the year that he needs to show that why he was drafted number 5 overall.
Yeah, you hear the term bust thrown around. I can go there. I can also hear the other side of the argument. The injuries aren't his fault, but they are part of the game. They are part of life. They are what have shortened some players' careers. And just looking at that beautiful background of your logo there, I'm thinking of Terrell Davis. Yep. And his career getting ended on an interception. Yep. And I think Matt Lepsis was the guy that swept his knee kind of a little bit. And Matt Lepsis was my boy out of CU, a converted tight end, left tackle. Another great story. I'm going to have to pop on your show. I just invited myself because I definitely want to talk some Broncos. And guys, we're hitting the 1 hour mark. So I wanted to be sure once again, that was 7 a.m. Tom?
Yep, 7 a.m. Friday mornings, every Friday, 7 a.m. This Friday, especially tune in for Carl Mecklenburg.
Boom.
But we do a good job. I like to kind of weave in past players with current events and going back the other way too. So I want to really keep those legends alive, and I like to also kind of be relevant. So as current events go on, so that's we talk a lot about old Broncos players. And the Mile High legend is the story at the end that I tell. And I saw a comment coming through about talking about Floyd Little. We are going to, we're definitely going to talk about Floyd Little. But yeah, it's fun. It's just me. So definitely pop in and make some comments. It's at 7 a.m. Every morning, and we usually end by 7:35, 7:40.
Boom. That's Legends of Mile High podcast. You could find Thomas at Thomas Hall NFL on Twitter. Yours truly at Luke Patterson LP. We're getting all kinds of love from the fellas and the ladies. Great show tonight, Luke and Thomas. Looking forward to watching y'all on Wednesday nights. Mike S. is, of course, referring to the change, a little bit of shaking up here on MHH. We've got a lot of new exciting things that have kind of just started within the last month, if we're going to be honest or so. From Thomas launching a new pod, we've got Kim back running a pod in the morning. You've got those crazy guys, Broncos for breakfast, building the Broncos, the Dove Valley deep divers, those Huddle Up boys, and of course your favorite MHI. We're heading on over to Wednesday nights prime time starting June 1st. You will be able to find Nick, Scott, and I doing our thing over there. And again, Carl Mecklenburg, Broncos Rima Famer. You'll be able to get some questions in. Start looking for those. I can't wait to hear what he has got to say about Nick Benito, Bradley Chubb, Malik Reed, some of these defensive linemen. Gosh, I could spend all day with that guy. It's so cool that you were able to land him. And, man, this was a special show, man. I also want to give a huge shout-out to Scott. Scott, thank you so much for rocking with us on Saturdays. You make my job so easy, and Thomas and all of us. You put in so much work that people don't realize, and this is a huge sacrifice. I want to thank my wife and my family, my daughter, all of my family and friends. Doing this show on Saturday nights for 2 years has been a huge sacrifice, not just for me, but the people I love and my friends, my family, and all of our supporters. Because of you guys, we are going to bigger things this year in 2022. We've got major announcements still coming. Chad's coming with some big hot news in the very near future. Be sure to tune in to milehighhuddle.com. You can get at Twitter at milehighhuddle. Head on over to huddleuppod.com. Get your swag on. And again, go ahead and give us a rating, like, subscribe on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, anywhere you get these podcasts. We really appreciate it. And guys, it's a Memorial Day weekend. Have a happy Memorial Day. We respect and love all of those who fight for our freedoms. And Tom, man, thanks, dude. This was a great show. We've got to do it again soon.
Definitely.
This was so much fun, man. We've been rapping about this all week, and I can't wait to tune into your show on Friday night or Friday morning.
Thank you so much for having me on. This has been a great time. Thanks for letting me plug the show, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much, and thanks to everyone in the comments.
That's
great
right.
comments.
Broncos country rocked it for us tonight, and we're going to go ahead and sign off, guys. Spend time with your friends and your family. Get outdoors if you can. Tell those that you surround yourself, you love them. Have a great rest of your holiday weekend. I believe those Huddle Up boys will be back on Sunday night tomorrow. This is for Tom, for Luke, for Scott. Let's ride.